Hey people, this is Dude Michtam. You ain't never heard of him because they changed his name to King David. But he was originally a British dude named Dude Michtam. I did a movie yesterday about the meaning of when doves cry, and it's in Psalms. This word Michtam I showed you yesterday that, it's a technical term found in Psalms titles meaning uncertain. They don't know what it meant. But it only comes up 6 times, and first in Psalm 16, it comes just before David, to David. And then after that it comes after David every time. After David, after David, after David. And then the last time it comes before David in Psalm 60. And you see how they're trying to hide the meaning here. To the chief musician, we saw that start that other one. And set to do not destroy. That kind of don't make sense. Of David, and you see that the L, is always 2. If you look over in the Greek, it'll be opposite, it'll be to David. And a Michtam, but there is no A there. That's his last name there. And this wasn't David. You'll see David spelled a couple different ways in the Hebrew. Sometimes it has an I in there. But this is a dude. A dude is a mannequin. You always see David, they always image him as nude. And a mannequin is something that you can dress up. A man extremely fastidious in dress and manner. Boy, he's a regular old dandy. To dress up elaborately. And so it kind of just means an actor. He's playing the part of whatever clothes you put on him. Do the clothes make the man? Yeah, the clothes turn a dude into a man. So in between the Greek and the Hebrew, they kind of changed the place. The word for David, in the Hebrew, this dude. This is dude over here. All this that came before David, this means dude. And the word they say is David. This means to divide. D-A-V-I-D-E. Divide days. And so his to teles, his, they is, theirs, T-H-E-I-R-S, theirs. And theirs to tell as a media. Media means meh, not so much, meh. How do you like it? Meh, and do, through. And cook mine, meh, not so much through. Media. And it means middle, And his to tell is the middleman, the media actor. The media actor is the act, and theirs. It belongs to them. Their television, their telegraph. And they to tell as media actor is to, that's the dude that they got dressed up. And the media actor is to divide. They see, T-H-E-Y and the double S reading a S-I. They see a telegraph. And the N followed by the E over here reading as a V. A telegraph of, the I-A reading is a U-V of into. And it's where you word, you'll find events in there, event. When it comes to time is what they're telegraphing. They already have a plan set up, and if they all get on time together, they can profit from this. So you don't have to telegraph all the plan, you telegraph the time in symbols. But his to tell as, his to tell, he won, history. The history told by the victor, the victor to tell. He's got the mic, he's the director, and his to tell as media actor, media act theirs. Media act theirs. It's 3 words put together, media and actor and theirs. The guy on your TV screen. Watch at the end, it'll come up at the end of the news and say, it'll tell you what local company addressed the actors. And his to tell as media actors. To divide, they see the telegraph when to divide, they see the sign when the sign of into, of vent. And then this part's code. It's difficult to read because it's designed to read backwards and forwards. You see 3 words starting with the letter A here. But it's oughtn't, and into oughtn't, should you not have, oughtn't you, shouldn't you do this, and oughtn't a podded or a slain away. A pod means a serpent, no-footed, a creature with no feet, not running away, slithering away, a podded, slithered, no-footed, a no-footed or a slain. The K before the E becomes the L, a slain, and killed the serpent, a away, a force of pav. The force of pav is hungry. Pav is poor, poverty, and the force of pav is hunger. And so of will, that's what they're gonna do. So of will, and theys, they are too, theys too, and so of will, theys too. The force of pav, so of will, theys too. A spillage to spell it out, Spelaj, a spellage. And, his or theirs, but it means, the other person's ownership, not your ownership. And his to tell, his job is to. His to tell as media actor is to divide. They see a telegraph when to divide, they see the mark. A telegraph of into oughtn't a podded her as lane, a podded, no footed her as lane, nowheres to run, no way to run, you have no feet. A pod her as lane, a away force of pav, so of will his to spillage on. And so the rest of this all reads the same. It's just this part, these AAA words here that read different. And so when you read it backwards, the VA, I changed this into a T or a DE. And what it does, it adds a feminine quality to everything. It's the Edda. And then you can see where they get that running away from. It's into not. And not and injects her. You ain't sticking that thing in me. She's running away. Into not injects her did. Of, and then the AO means the opposite of whatever comes after. AO means not, and put in front of any word in Greek. And not a PA, and not a paper has a foe. Not a paper has a foe. And all the papers are writing good about you. And so what trips me out the most is not that they had a telegraph back then, and not that they had printing presses when all this was written, but that they were still speaking the same English. And so it's telling the secrets, is the telegraph, some things that you telegraph in, and the things that you don't telegraph in to the not injects. Don't inject that into the mainstream. And injects her did of a not a paper has a poverty. Pav is your foe. The force of pav is the hunger, is on your face. When they can see in your face that you're hungry, anytime you're going to negotiate a business deal, always go get something to eat first. It's just something that God put in the soul of man, in order to keep him alive. When he got hungry, you could see it on his face, and you could better negotiate. So of will his to spellage on. Watch Trump work that magic spell. And this is the word that I was looking at in the Hebrew when I come here. In the Hebrew, this is change. And this read several different ways in the Hebrew, and there's no possible way to try to, the Greek was a parody. It plainly says in Genesis 1 that it's a parody of the Bible. And so they were trying to keep in line. It wasn't like they were writing a new book, so, they had to follow some guidelines. So they did a good job, but In the Hebrew, they master it with just the minimum letters. And it reads several different ways, starting with an A. Or this line here, hadn't you reading this backwards again to here, where it's the change. When you read it backwards, it's the change mine. Oh, I changed my mind. Be merciful to me. God is whoever's dealing you your food, whoever's got your life in their hand, the doctor and the cook, whoever on the boat controls your life, Be merciful to me, please. Hold the pickles. In the Navy on the boat, the chief warrant officer is God, because even if he's busted down, he still gets to retire with his pay rank. He's the highest rank enlisted man, so ain't nobody under there telling him anything. And he don't have to go to all the officers' meetings. And they certainly don't mind you calling him God. They'll even ask you that you call him God sometime. But this here reads is laments. And this word breaks down, this is M-N-T-Z, ments. And it's where your word commence comes from, the guy who tells you when to start, the commence. And laments is the guy who's hollering over there. And laments, and hollers, halts, H-A-L-T, S-E-T, halts it, stops there. And laments, halts it to a dude, to the dude, and it's going to explain who that dude was here. This is just the dude, the naked dude, wearing the clothes of from Michtam, from Michtam, in the setting. He's in the part of the play, from Michtam. And virtue, double B is a V-I, V-I-R-C-H-U, of virtue. And from Michtam, of virtue mapping. Virtue mapping, is planning for a better future. It's a $10, $20 app that gives you daily tools and tactics and techniques to banish procrastination and boost your confidence. It says, it's halt right there, you who's trying to better yourself. And laments, halts, and halts it right there to the dude from cut from. He was cut from. Cut is writing. And this word they say is telegraph in the Greek. To telegraph a virtue mapping. To telling everybody how to better theirself. So will in more. More is the pyramid. Not a cave, but it's more. M-O-R-E. I want more. Make it higher. More rocks. More. And so will in more. Change. C-H-N-J-I-I-J. Change. And change mine. M-I-E. And the L followed by the A reads the N. To change mind. God is power of the mind. And change. And a change see in the catch see and in the catch see in a fishy. The fishy, that's an ancient word for pussy. I don't know if it's politically correct anymore, but men used to think that pussy smelled the same as fish. The soul, the feet, the Pisces, PSI, Pisces. And in the pussy of it's a licking pick, to lick the one that you pick. And atches, at yours, atches had, atches and EOD had, and the licking pick atches had. A job, in J-O-B, and the R-E, and the double V reading is a V-I-T, a jobbervite. The job of revite, the evite is a desire or a chasm, a chasm, that clit. And so the job is to re-wit, to not like re-writ, but re-wit, to put it in another witty way. It won't have to be censored. Some people read it one way and some people get the deeper meaning out of it. You might have seen Quagmire run his school to how to pick up women.
I'm not trying to be a girl's Prince Charming. I'm trying to be that big mistake they made at the bar last night. Look, what's the first thing you say to a woman when you meet her? Pleased to meet you. That's a handsome scarf pin. No! You say, hi there. How's your relationship with your father? If she says anything positive, move along.
And laments, halts it to dude 'em, cut 'em. To dude 'em, cut 'em, to write it, to set it in, and to cut 'em of virtue mapping, so will in more change mine. A change see in catch, and how much you catch in catch. See in the fishy, in the pussy of its licking pick atches. Yeah, pick at yours, pick atches had. The pickatches had, whichever ones you wanted, the job revite. And then when you're reading it with this mark, you read the A words head on. And to change all him, and then you back this way, and this M turns into an I, and it's a J-I-E, and the L before there is N, a gina. And change all him gina. Gina is the woman. And then the I-N, and then the second N reads as an I now, I-H, in itch. And change all him gina in itch. And then you come back after this line you're reading. And so it's a double H here. So this one's an I-N and an I. And so now it's itching, and I-C-I. Itchingacy. A C is, in that ruling family, that dynasty, that itchingacy. The book of change, the itching. So before it was, and learn to accept the things you cannot change. No, it was look closer into them and see what you can change. The book of Ching. In Chingacy, in catches ye, in fish of its, and then backwards and forwards after this line, of its lick if in can, a pick catches had the job of re-wit. And so now, when you read the story and you read the cure all in the same line with the reading directions, and now it's been re-wit. You cured yourself with the change, the I Ching. And like I said, in the Greek, that's known as the lesson. And you see the on me right here. It's coming from the on me. It's right here. And they're leaving. And so this show mercy is the L-E-E-S, the lease. And in that movie I did yesterday, it was talking about which god this was. And it was same here. It was written just a little bit different, but it was, and the lesson from, the M is from, and the E is reading as H. H-O-D, had, has. The lesson from had, has, Audi, that's the name of this. That's what this is about. If you did what you should have did, you Audi. If you has what you ought to done, you wouldn't be getting the lesson from the had, has, Audi. And the lesson from had, has, the listen me, Audi. He should have listened to me. The lesson is the itching, the change and the itching. And so it seems like, the word for the God all the time is the control. What's on the left and the right side of this word. If you do this, this is liable to be your outcome. And from the had, has, Audi. Remember, it was in get, and the Philistines, and all the fool, and get the lesson. And from had, H-O-D, H-O-S-O-T-I, from had, has, Audi. Well, he should have did what I told him. Now he's gonna get the lesson, and all all you fool and get the lesson from had, has, Audi. The Kate of fates, the chain of fate. What's gonna happen? It's connected in the gear work. It's got to happen. You can't change it. And that was the lesson. Remember, the lesson is the change over here. So, the change is that prayer every time you get so drunk and you finally pray, oh God, I'll never drink again. Please be merciful to me. I will change and get the change and get the lesson. And that's something they didn't change. It's the same, in all three languages. And get the change and get the lesson. And in get 'em is here he may. You might just catch that right here. So you can tell, that's a feminine god, and how you say to the boy, you can catch them itches right over here. And so that's how I learned how to read this, and I put them side by side, and I go back and forth reading them. And I know this is a parody. It's not the same thing. I know it because, I can read them both. I only read two languages, English and Ancient English. And these are both the same Ancient English, just a different script. There was no reason to write the same book. It's a parody, and it plainly says it. In Genesis, when it says the Garden of Paradise, it doesn't say anything about a paradise. That's a King James invention. It says guard in parody. To guard in parody. To guard the writings in a parody. And his to tell as media actor is to divide. They see telegraph when, to dude from Sedum. And into oughtn't applauded her as Lane. And so into oughtn't, oughtn't, that's on the back of your dollar bill. It's an ancient symbol for the telegraph office. It's a little symbol on your cell phone. Do you have signal? And not so much signal. Signal is the lines out this way. These lines reading are the aughten, the symbol of sending the message. The Catholic Church puts it like this. This is the aughten, sending the message. Same symbol we use today. The aughten. The aughten, Egyptian power source. And his to tell as media actor is to divide. They see telegraph of into not injector did of an AO and not a paper as of foe. So of will his to spellage on. The lesson from has, the lesson you got, the lesson from Audie, if a sep, the OI reading is the ESEP, and if a sep, if it in, and if you accept this mission, and the lesson from Audie, if a sep, if it in, hap suchum of when, hap, HPSUCH, and hap suchum of when, and if you should hapsu such and taken this mission, and such of when, and this could on, THS is like a DES, this, and the IA reads a U, KUD, and this could on protrusions of. And so a protrusion, the feather is corruptible. And Yankee Doodle, oh dude, the Yankee Doodle went to town riding on his pony and put a feather in his hat, to let everybody know he was corruptible. I could be corrupted. I might be looking for a prostitute. Put your feather in your hat. A pimp, a big feather in his hat. A prostitute with a boa wrapped around her neck, and can be corruptible. And hap such of when this could on be corrupted, protrusion on. So will P has of. The so and WEL, so will P, the I omega reads the E, a P has of. And this is where they're getting the shadow. You look at the shadow over here. You look down here, and this A word reads backwards. The SHA and the OD or the DO, the shadow. This is where the shadow's coming from. And it means, and will P has of. And the will P has of, that's your shadow. That's the dude that's behind you. And he's got the P. And that's where the word peon comes from, peon. The guy who's behind you is a peon. The no peons, well, they all up here in front of you. They got no peon. That's the base for your Greek and Latin, peon, behind you. And hap suchum of when this could on a corruption, a protrusion, so well peon has of, and comes after you, the shadow, and comes after you. And so well peon has of, and of apparel, apparel, to dress up the dude, to put the clothes on him, to create the man, of apparel, of thy enemy, And apparel, thy th in the second H reading is a Y, thy. And apparel it they. And an onomy is not lawlessness. This is law. Deuteronomy, deuter, second, onomy, law. They getting this lessness from out of thin air. This is law. If a sepidin hap suchum of when this could on protrusion, so will peon has, so will come after of apparel of thy law. So this isn't David, this is just the dude. And it's the dude from Septum the batches at. He accepts them in batches, 12 at a time. And to the dude from Septum virtue mapping, trying to tell everybody else how to better their odds. And to shit, and to destroy to the dude from Sedum, the Amenamin. The Amenamin. That's what they say is truth. They're giving indeed here, amen. And to dude from Sedum vessels all. And sent is usually this, SLH, the sail and the vessel and everything having to do with that SLH would have to be with in sent. And from Sedum vessels all. And so I found some good stuff when I was looking at this. The Requiem, they say that that's where the Goliath come from. That was the giants. And you see that, King James is the only one that uses this giant terminology. Everybody else, says it's the Requiem, but King James was with this giants. Nobody else ever thought they were giants. And I found something here that's going to ruin your fantasy if you believe in giants. But this word means 5 foot. And 5 foot tall is a lot more believable than 5 feet. And I'm going to cut this off here. A good day.